Welcome to today's explainer, everyone. When we look at global commerce, it's so easy to just fixate on the physical products we buy. But today, we're going to demystify the massive, invisible infrastructure, the hidden economic engine, really, that actually keeps our modern world running smoothly. Let's kick things off with a bit of a mystery. Picture this. You're driving through the countryside, middle of nowhere, and you spot a tiny, isolated petrol pump. It seems super simple, right? But how in the world does that isolated station secure the massive funds it needs to buy fuel in bulk? And how on earth do they protect themselves from the extreme risks of storing highly flammable liquids so far from a fire department? Well, the answer lies in the fundamental difference between what you can actually hold in your hand, the physical goods, like the tangible liquid petrol itself, and the invisible network powering its arrival, which are the business services. Without that invisible network, the physical goods simply wouldn't exist in the marketplace. All right, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. Decoding business services. 2. The 5 I's explained. 3. How banks power business. 4. The e-banking revolution. 5. Core principles of insurance. And finally, 6. Understanding life insurance. Okay, let's jump right into Section 1, Decoding Business Services, the Invisible Engine. So back to that lonely petrol pump. To really solve that mystery, we have to recognize that the pump is actually the collective outcome of a totally intricate web of services. The fuel only gets there via transport services, like trains and tankers. It's held safely in depots using warehousing services. The owner relies on communication services just to order the fuel, banking services to get loans for those hefty advance payments, and of course, insurance services to protect against fires or accidents. All of these invisible threads have to weave together flawlessly just to dispense 1 single liter of petrol into your car. Moving on to Section 2, the 5 I's explained. Nature of services. What makes a service? Well, a service. These invisible support systems share 5 fundamental characteristics, often called the 5 I's: intangibility, inconsistency, inseparability, inventoryless, and involvement. Basically, unlike identical, mass-produced goods coming off an assembly line, services rely entirely on real-time human interaction. First up is intangibility. Services are strictly experiential. You literally cannot put a doctor's medical advice in a cardboard box and take it home. You can't hold a digital cloud subscription in your hand. The value is entirely tied up in the experience itself. And this brilliantly illustrates the concept of inseparability, which is the simultaneous activity of production and consumption. Think about it. You can't manufacture a haircut today, stick it on a warehouse shelf, and sell it next month. No way. The service provider and the customer must absolutely both be present. The service is being consumed at the exact same moment it's being produced. Let's look at Section 3, How Banks Power Business, the Financial Engine. Take a look at this massive, dramatic evolution in banking policy. Banks aren't just giant, static vaults for cash anymore. They have deliberately transformed from serving an exclusive urban class to empowering the rural masses. They've completely shifted from short-term lending to long-term developmental objectives, actively stimulating the entire economy by turning our public savings into real business capital. It's a total game changer. Which perfectly cues up Section 4, the e-banking revolution, digital virtual banking. Much like scanning a digital QR code with your phone, e-banking literally teleports us from the physical world of brick-and-mortar branches into a totally virtual global village. We traded waiting in physical lines during strict banking hours for a full-service bank that resides right in our pockets. And the process completely bypasses the traditional teller. You just select a service on a digital menu using your PC or mobile device. From there, a centralized web-enabled database kicks in. It reads the request, verifies the funds, and bam, the transaction completes instantly without a single human operator ever needing to get involved. This grants us continuous access, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, from literally anywhere on the planet. It promotes massive financial discipline through transparent, easily traceable records, while simultaneously offloading the crushing administrative weight from those traditional physical branches. Truly, it's a win-win for both the consumer and the institution. All right, let's pivot to Section 5, Core Principles of Insurance, Protecting Your Assets. So, the whole concept of insurance is deeply rooted in mutual trust. It's governed by the foundational Latin principle, uberrima fige, which basically means it's a contract founded on utmost good faith. Both you and the insurer absolutely must fully and honestly disclose all material facts. For instance, if you are insuring a factory, you have to voluntarily and accurately disclose the state of its fire safety equipment. Hiding a broken sprinkler system totally violates this ultimate trust and immediately voids your safety net. Furthermore, payouts aren't just handed out blindly, right? If you get into a minor fender bender or a fire breaks out at a warehouse, the payout relies on what's called the proximate cause. This means identifying the single, most direct, dominant, and effective event that actually triggered the mishap. The insurance policy is only going to provide compensation if that specific, dominant peril was covered in your contract. Then we have the strict rule of subrogation. Imagine your car gets stolen and your insurance company pays you for the total loss. If the police later recover that stolen car, subrogation means the insurer now officially owns it. They stand in your place. This crucial principle is there to prevent anyone from double dipping and making a profit from a single loss. You definitely can't keep the insurance money and the recovered car. And all of this wraps into the overriding goal of general property insurance, which is indemnity. This literally means compensating you to put you right back in the exact financial position you were in immediately before the disaster struck. No richer, no poorer. It is entirely about restoring balance, not creating new wealth. Finally, Section 6, Understanding Life Insurance, Protecting the Future. Here is where things get really fascinating. While general property insurance relies on that strict indemnity we just talked about, life insurance does not. Why? Well, simply because a human life cannot be quantified and replaced. You literally can't put a person back in the exact same position after a tragedy. Instead, life insurance operates by offering a predetermined fixed sum of money to protect your dependents or act as a forced investment for your future retirement. Because life insurance acts as both a protective net and a forced investment for the future, it perfectly mirrors the hidden support structures we've explored today. So, it leaves us with a critical question to ponder. As you navigate the daily uncertainties of commerce and life, what invisible economic engines are actively working right now to keep your world running? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. See you next time.